Well, how do we know? I mean, this is supposed to have got the book with no help from the principals. Well, being an old skeptic, I doubt that. I mean, I remember Andrew Morton saying the same thing over Diana's book. And in fact, when I saw the pictures in Andrew Morton's book, I knew that Diana had helped because no one could get those pictures except from a very, very private picture album. With the Finding Freedom, I feel that because there's detail in that, the intimate detail, I love you too, do you tell that to friends? I don't think I would. Whether you use a wet wipe in the jungle or not, would you tell that to friends? That's the sort of thing you keep between yourselves. So it's either a very, 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 very close friend, or it's them, and or them talking to someone in detail, probably taping it and then passing it on, and therefore distancing himself from the fact, saying they never colluded. But my view is that you don't get that much detail. And there's really no really new sensational stories in it. Someone described it as like an album of greatest hits with no new releases. And that's about it, Now, whether it sells or not, I don't know. I think it possibly will, because there's massive interest in this couple. And know Caroline very well, Caroline Durand, and know Omid. And they've worked hard and they've taken a bit of criticism, but they've put their best effort in, and if they're protecting their sources, I totally understand that, why they're doing that. I would totally understand that. But as I said, there's a part of me that thinks that there was a bit of help there from the couple. The detail and the fact that they've not objected to it. I mean, everyone else that writes one little silly word about them, they want to go to the High Court, and no, I'm afraid I feel that they must have colluded with them. But there you go. Look, I wish every author that writes a book wish they could get that access, and good luck to them. But whether I buy the book, I don't think I will. I think I've read enough already in the papers.
I want to get your reaction to a couple of the points that was made in the book. Some what might people call accusations against people like William. They described William as a snob when he said that quote about this girl, in referring to Meghan. And they also felt that they'd been thrown under the bus, apparently, by the royal family to sort of protect the firm. What do you make of those two specific accusations?
Well, when the country is in this massive lockdown, where the economy has crashed, where people are dying on ventilators every day, and because his brother mentions his wife or fiancée, I think it was at the time, as this girl, if that causes massive offence, I think that's moaning taken to extreme lengths. I think you should, if you put that in perspective, I think that is just I think it's Harry being too sensitive, and I think his brother protecting wanted Harry to have second thoughts about this. When Harry went to see the Queen about moving to America, the Queen quite rightly was there to protect the institution of the monarchy, which meant they couldn't use their royal titles to promote their private business or to promote any commercial business, or in fact to go as a speaker, being a member of the royal family. She did the right thing there, but she also said to Harry, let's give it 12 months, Harry, and see how you get on, and then perhaps come back. Now, there's a while to go yet. I think we've got till March, maybe another 6 months yet. So, Harry might get tired of the life there. He might love it. He may, who knows, they may have another child. But I think the Queen would like to see him back. I think the Prince of Wales would like to see him back. And I'm sure William would like to see him back. I think William, whatever anybody says, is a good man, and so is Harry. And I think if it was over a question of that girl, rather than just saying the word Meghan, when the country is in a terrible state, where absolutely people are fighting to get jobs, there's millions out of work, and he takes offence at that, well, I think that's pretty petty, and I think he should grow up.
Harry and Meghan have obviously bought a new house in California. Does this represent the kind of end of their British chapter? There's no way they're going to go back to the UK.
I think you can never say never, I mean, they bought a house, but you know, to the royals, that's not such a big deal. You know, to you and I it is, and probably the asking price, $12 million, you'd say. But you know, they would, if Harry wanted to come back, I don't think that would stop him. So I wouldn't say that. I'd say that I think they'll come back. I know Harry will certainly come back. If he doesn't come back permanently, he'll come back to support the Queen and his father. But not at the moment because of this awful virus that prevents travel between here in the United States.
And do you think there's some people say that they should have paid off Frogmore Cottage before buying a house themselves? What do you make of that argument?
Well, they've said they're going to do that. I mean, they didn't say when, but they did say they were going to do it, and I imagine they will. I mean, Harry's a wealthy man, and he got left an awful lot of money by his mother, and of course, properly invested, that's going to be worth an awful lot more now. But you know, that's not all about money. It's all about the fact that he wants to live a life outside the royal family. Well, you know, that's fine, but I think he could get tired of that. I think he could, you know, at one stage think that maybe he would like to return. And I think the Queen's left the door open for him, and I'm sure the Prince of Wales would want that. I mean, the Prince of Wales obviously is worried about his younger son, not seeing his grandson, Archie Harrison. You know, I think Harry's also, you know, quite close to his father, and in spite of what's gone on, I think he's pretty close to his brother as well. And you know, that's, you know, I've photographed them many times, those brothers, and they are really, really tight. You know, I mean, you know, I had a lovely brother, and we had our arguments, but we never ever stopped talking to each other. I don't think it's going to be such a big problem that just having a house. I think that's for them, for people with money, that's just another house. I mean, they've got Frogmore Cottage. They've also got their little cottage at Kensington Palace. They wanted to go back to that. And I'm sure the Queen and the Prince of Wales has got many other places they could live, so that wouldn't be a problem. I think what's disturbing for me about it all is the fact that, you know, Harry was much loved here in Britain. He was absolutely adored, especially by the readers of The Sun. They did think he was the really, you know, the cat's pajamas. He was, you know, he was impetuous. He served in the army. He served in a war, 2 terms. And you know, that counts a lot with the people in Britain. And he was popular, and very popular. I did lots of jobs with him. I did lots of tours with him. He was exciting. He was, you know, you just couldn't take your eyes off him. He was just a joy to work with. Now, obviously, you know, his wife's different ideas. She doesn't want to live here. She wants to live with her friends in Los Angeles. And now she's moved to Santa Barbara. She's even closer to them. I think the Clooneys are near neighbours, and Oprah Winfrey, and other probably super film stars that she now considers she's one of. And opportunities may come their way. You know, I mean, I'm sure Meghan might like to star in another film. I don't say it's been mentioned yet, but I'm sure she would. And she'd probably be very good. I mean, what I've seen of her so far, she's quite an accomplished actress. She's got very good, she's a very good speaker. I've heard her speeches, and she's excellent. And I think, you know, for her, it could be superb. But for Harry, I wonder what's for him, you know, because you can only make so many speeches about your mother, and you can only make so many speeches about the planet. And, you know, his form on the planet isn't very good at the moment, what with all the private jet flights they've taken. So let's see, you know, what develops. I personally hope he comes back.